Edison Titus with the Titus Law Firm, here to teach you a thing or two about LLCs. So, what is an LLC? A little bit more of a detailed explanation. Well, an LLC is a limited liability company, and in Texas, like many other states, limited liability company allows you to separate yourself from your business endeavors. This limits your liability for what happens in that business. So there's different types of limited liability companies. There's the member managed and the manager managed, right? Now, if you have a member managed company, then the filings that you do with the Texas Secretary of State in order to effectuate the making of your LLC, it will say on there who those members are and the fact that it's member managed. Those are the people who run the company and the people who own the company, as opposed to a manager-managed LLC. A manager-managed LLC means that the people whose names are on that SOS certificate that's filed, those are the people who run the company, but they are not necessarily the people who own the company. That is something that would be taken care of in the operating agreement, which says this is the rules by which this entity runs. Those managers are officers of the company who are empowered to do whatever needs doing on behalf of the company. So why is that important? That's important for, again, liability reasons. It's easier to find out and figure out who to go after if it's a member-managed company, and it's harder if it's a manager-managed company. Now, ultimately, that doesn't change, assuming you're doing things the way that you're supposed to be doing, it doesn't change your limited liability status, right? If you are a member-managed company and your company breaches a contract, let's say, or somebody accuses you of something in the scope of the business, right? You sell widgets and there's an issue over a widget contract, right? Well, then what happens is when someone goes after that company, they can only go after the assets of the company. Property, money in the bank, assets, whether it be vehicles or computers or whatever the case may be. Generally people are looking for a monetary judgment, and so if you get a monetary judgment, it has to be satisfied with money, which sometimes necessitates the selling of assets in order to get the money to pay the person. Anyways, long story short, there are member-managed and manager-managed LLCs, and either one of them will give you liability protection that you need. If someone sought to pierce the corporate veil and go after your personal assets because you did something that was outside the scope of the business or commingled the LLC with your personal life, well, in that case, it's not a presumption, it has to be proved. But if there's an overlap, well, then they, meaning the opposing side, can potentially come after you as an individual. If you want to make it harder for them to know who you as an individual is, you should keep it as a manager-managed company, right? Again, there's a whole lot more that can be said, because in the event that something were to go down in court, there would be a discovery process and they can find out who are the owners. But at the top level, that's how you want to set things up. A manager-managed LLC that has the appropriate operating agreements and is not commingled, so you can have the separation between the business and yourself, or you and your partners. All right, Edison Titus with the Titus Law Firm, teaching you a thing or two about LLC.